What is up, guys? Thank you for tuning in to the Zips Esports Overwatch stream tonight. My name's Will Imes. I got Paul Hirsch with me here casting. And before we get into this ECS Overwatch match against University of Buffalo, we do just have a couple messages we'd like to read out. So first of all, if you are interested in keeping up with all things Zips Esports related, don't forget to follow our Twitter account. And if you're a current student looking to get involved with esports in any way, you can join our Discord at uakron.edu/discord.
And if you're a University of Akron student, you're able to get a completely free COVID test from health services on campus. The university is encouraging all students who believe that they or someone they know has been in contact with COVID to pick up a test. It's easy, quick, and painless. And if you need to contact health services, their phone number is 330-972-7808.
And we do just want to say a quick thank you to our sponsors. First of all, thank you to Audio Technica, our exclusive audio partner, SteelSeries, our exclusive peripheral partner, Archon, our jersey provider, and Gravity Gaming, our PC provider. So, Paul, before we get into this match, what can you tell me about UBuffalo? Because I personally don't really follow the Overwatch collegiate scene that much, and I don't really know too much about this team.
I haven't had much experience with them myself, but judging by the competitive nature of the game currently, because there is a recent patch that came out that kind of shifted some dynamics, we'll probably be seeing a lot of dive or quick action comps rather than an extended fight, just because of character buffs and kind of a lot more characters are able to be played now rather than a specific like set meta or singular team comp. And so it'll be interesting to see how they've figured out to work with these changes. And
Yeah. I mean, I feel like more variety is always a good state for the game to be in. And honestly, for somebody like me who really doesn't follow Overwatch that closely, what can you tell me about the Akron boys? You know, I've heard that they're pretty good. I'm expecting to take a W tonight, as always. But what are we looking at here for our Akron squad?
Well, I know that the team's pretty warm after a long day of on that ranked ladder for some of them, seeing them starting to climb. But I know that they're ready, itching for a fight after slowly working up this week. They're getting into some bigger games such as this one, so be interesting to see how they come out swinging.
That's awesome. How have they been doing so far this season?
So far the tournaments have kind of been building up, so right now it's beginning of seasons in most of these tournaments, but so far what I've heard, it's been pretty good. They've been going, I think, positive so far, and it's just kind of feeling out the other teams for this season, this semester.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to getting a look into this game. You know, I haven't really followed competitive Overwatch for probably a year or so now, and I mean, back when I followed it, that was before. I'm pretty sure now you can only have 2 of each role on each team, right?
Yeah, as of, I believe it was about a year ago, maybe a little bit more, the Overwatch team decided that a role lock of 2 supports, 2 damage, and 2 tank is going to be the standard for all competitive game modes. And so that goes all the way up from their professional Overwatch League all the way down to the competitive ladder in-game. And so with all the rule sets of the different tournaments for professional, semi-pro, collegiate, and just regular tournaments, that's kind of how it's gone, is just 2-2-2. And so it just kind of allows for a lot of variation in metas versus one singular locked-in group.
Well, that's pretty awesome. Yeah, and I think that we're going to be getting into this first match in just a second here. Yeah, I'm excited to see. I know when, I used to follow the game, there was a lot of triple, quadruple tank meta and stuff, which could be interesting. But at the same time, like I said before, I feel like any, way that the game can have more variety in it, where more characters can get played and be viable and competitive, is probably a good thing.
Yeah, the thing about like having that singular 3 tank, 3 support comp was you can get very fine gameplay and like very fine mechanical detail out of it, but it's just kind of, after a while, will get stale to watch and it'll just kind of be the same fights over and over. But just over the last couple patches and major updates, they've been definitely trying to improve the kind of just enjoyment of the game. And so recently, with the last patch specifically, they changed Dorisa's ability to where whenever she uses her Fortify, which already negated any knockback and reduced half damage for her for incoming, also she's no longer able to be headshot, and so that's created a lot of different compositions now that you can kind of just have a strong front line and just kind of keep pushing into them, where you can stand your ground more than just kind of getting rolled over once your shield is gone.
Nice. So, like I said, you know a lot more about this than I do. I mean, what are you thinking about what are going to be some really like hotly contested picks? What do you think these teams are going to be picking up most likely? I know you mentioned the dive comp beforehand.
Yeah, so if there's dive versus dive, we're going to see a lot of I'm pretty sure we're going to have some sniper battles in there and just kind of seeing whichever hits skin can get the better of the other, but also just kind of the team dynamic of being able to execute your dive successfully. And I believe we're about to start the first map. This is a best of 5 standard, I believe, for this tournament. And so it'll be first to 3 wins.
Nice.
All right.
And as we are getting into the game here, looking at some of these team comps, looks like you are right on both sides. I recognize Winston on the blue team. I know he's somebody that people like to run in dive comps.
Yeah, we're getting some nice dive or double bubble, I guess is the unofficial name for it, where your monkey would dive in, use his bubble shield, and also get bubbled by the Zarya to prevent incoming damage or stuns. And so we'll see how this goes, because one side's got the Sombra coming out, so that'll be fun to see them sneaking around trying to hack. And while Buffalo is going with more of a full, just kind of burst damage.
And for those who don't know, like me, which team is Akron? Blue or red?
Akron is currently on the blue side.
Good to know. That's very important information.
And so far, Buffalo takes the first picks and are pushing into the space that Akron has. But right now, it's kind of all over the place, getting a full brawl, whoever can get a pick here or there. But looks like that Buffalo took the first capture point and now is starting the tick. And so once the tick reaches 100% for either team, that is the end of the point. It goes on to the next round. As it is King of the Hill, it is best of 3.
Gosh, stuff happens so fast in this game. We were on that Zarya perspective for a little bit. She was blown up.
Yeah, she got blown up instantly in next character.
And then, around the map, 3 other people are dying. You don't even know exactly what's happening besides the kill feed. But
yeah, the only thing that initially ever really gets called out is the initial dive, and after that, it's just all who's flanking, who's dying, and who needs help.
I'd imagine that, too, as the round goes on longer and some of these characters start to build their ultimates up and we start to see some more synergy between them, we'll see the group up a little bit more. But for now, it seems like they are taking fights somewhat separately. Yeah,
both teams are building on a good stockpile of ults, but still Buffalo has not been unseated from the point, so it's going to be a little bit more pressure on Akron to take back the fight here and start to flip the point. It looks like...
I'm sorry, you go ahead.
Looks like Akron is getting ready to go in with an EMP, which has a radius of disabling every character's ability on the enemy team. And so if they manage to pull it off on a couple of players, they'll be able to go in for a hard dive, but they're still being shoved into the choke there.
Yeah, that looked like it was a pretty big EMP. Like she got 3 or 4 people in that, but sadly didn't get the Zenyatta. So
yeah, they engaged. They engaged a little late, and so the other team was able to use their ultimates. But it's still a pretty even fight and winnable by either side here. But the point is approaching that 100%, so Akron's really got to win this fight here to keep the point going.
Looked like that was a pretty big graviton surge there. Got 3 or 4 people.
Yeah, that was a very large grab.
It seemed like Buffalo maybe already had a couple picks before that happened, though, and the damage couldn't come through to finish off the Buffalo players.
Yeah. They transed early trying to save themselves from the EMP, and so they weren't able to save it for the damage that goes into their grav. And so now Akron has flipped the point, and now they're going to try to work against some of the stronger ultimates that Buffalo is currently holding.
Yeah, I know that Echo ultimate could be a really big one. She can turn into any of the other characters on the map, correct?
Yeah, so if you're the enemy team Echo, you can turn into anybody on the opposing team for around 15 seconds, and you get a insanely fast ultimate charge, so you can get 1, maybe 2 or 3 ultimates off in one use of your own ultimate. Gotcha. So it's very strong and a game changer. Currently, Buffalo is chosen to duplicate Winston, and that allows them just to have a massive presence in diving forward. But Akron seems to have stopped them, and now have a lot of ultimates at their reserves, while Buffalo is going to work on regaining theirs for a final fight or recontest.
Yeah, it seemed like a really good hold. It seemed like Buffalo really used a couple ultimates there trying to push that point, and Akron was able to hold while really keeping all of their percentages up. There's about 5 ultimates coming up for Akron right now in this next fight, so they're looking pretty
Yeah,
good.
Akron played this very well in saving some of their key ultimates here, especially with that EMP coming out. They were able to seal the deal on both of their supports. And so now it's just kind of a battle of attrition. Whoever survives. In this case, it seems like Akron is going to take. I take that back. Looks like Buffalo has taken the point, and it'll be seeing if Akron can stall it out.
They do have the Sombra and the Tracer, so maybe that's a good chance.
Yeah, there is a lot of stall potential, but you still have to kill the enemy team rather than just stall the point.
That Hamadont might come out big, but I think that Tranquility is probably...
Yeah, the Tranquility was very, very good at taking care of that minefield. And now it just looks like Buffalo's going to clean up that point with the remainder of the ults. There's no one left on Akron to stall, and the first point will go to Buffalo.
Still a pretty good job by Akron. They stalled that out for a long time, especially with all the ultimates that were coming out there from Buffalo, but I think Buffalo played that really well. I also saw that McCree Deadeye at the back of the point, just making it possible for anybody to step on and continue stalling. Seems like a really
it's very useful to finish off the point, because then you just don't have any zone. You have the entire point under your control, and no one can really stay for an extended period of time, especially when everyone is respawning.
It seems like Akron may have made a couple changes in comp here, particularly on their DPS now. Sombra going to the McCree pick.
Yes, and so they're going for more of a high ground control and focused dive rather than more of a brawl. And so they're going to get the high ground on the other team, put their Ana in position and their McCree next to her so they can deal out damage from the high ground while diving in with the rest of their team.
Interesting.
And it looks like they made the correct choice, having the McCree over the Sombra.
Yeah, it seems like it's going to help them deal with that echo a lot easier.
Yeah, it just takes care of anything in the sky. Just keeps them back. The monkey dives in, but gets stunned out. Manages to live, so it's still pretty even. But it looks like Buffalo is getting the picks they need to finish off the fight and take the point.
Yeah, they do make their way out of the point there, and Akron definitely gets cleaned out a little bit, has to back up, regroup. It's like a repeat of last match so far.
Yeah. Reassess and try a different angle this time. But now, since Buffalo has the high ground and the point, they're able to take a much better position. And so it'll be difficult to unseat them without any ultimates for Akron here.
But it's really interesting, actually, to a player who doesn't, hasn't played at a high level, I guess. I guess when I am in these positions in a game, I always think that, okay, if you have the point, you probably should just be sitting on it, to protect it in case anybody's trying to backdoor. But is this more of the typical strategy, once you get the point, sort of back up and try and take a high ground looking at a flank?
Yeah, so it really depends on the comp and the map you're running. So in this case, since you have a Zenyatta and a McCree and the Echo, you're not really want to be confined onto the point. You want to have as much distance you can see. And so if you want to see the enemy team coming, this point in particular, it wouldn't be that effective to sit on point with that much damage going out at a long range. And so if the other team would jump into you on point, you would just get stuffed and wouldn't have anything to do since you're all long range. But it looks like Akron's pushing on the point. Shuckle getting some good boops there with his primal. Tries to secure the Zenyatta, but he's trying to run away for his life.
Almost the triple knockoff there. I think the Diva was able to fly back on just in time, but that was super close. Really,
yeah. Shuckle saw some blood there, and he was going for it. Managed to almost. Fun fact: if you get booped off the edge while using your Transcendence, you still do die.
Yeah, that was really great timing too. I saw when he jumped onto the point, he only had about 94% of the ultimate, but he knew that charge would build up fast enough and just perfectly timed.
Yeah, and what we were saying is if you're stuck on point like that, a monkey can just jump in and get a ton of ult charge, which is what Shuckle did, and he popped ult instantly and just forced them back into a unfortunate position right on the edge.
Now it does look like... I'm sorry, go ahead.
Now the tables are kind of turned. Akron has the positioning here, but looks like the Buffalo's coming in on point to try to force them on, especially since they have a decent ult or a decent charge on the point.
Yeah, that's what I was going to point out. Is it does seem like Akron's not taking the same sort of position. That is a graviton surge going to get both the tanks, but not sure how it's going to be effective in changing the course of this fight so far.
They have taken out their main source of dive, but it's just a matter of cleaning up the rest of the team before the respawns come back. Still pretty even, but looks like Akron's going to secure the stragglers on point and flip it back to their favor. And now it's just clean up and wait for the next fight. But Buffalo doesn't really have as much pressure to hold here, so Akron's going to have to use their ultimates pretty intelligently to be able to withstand this first attack and then a second for the final fight.
I gotcha. So when he got that graviton surge, it seemed like he got the Diva and the Winston. And at first, it seemed like, to me watching, it seemed like, okay, maybe that was like a little bit of a misplay, or maybe that wasn't exactly what he was going for. But that did allow them to get on the point just by taking out that Winston. Would you say that that's a pretty key person to take out to be able to get this point?
Yeah. If you take out the tanks here in that situation, they can't really touch the high ground except for maybe one or two characters. And so being able to kill the Winston and the Diva, you take out all of their high ground mobility and you're able to just kind of walk back onto them like they did before.
Ooh, what a hole through that doorway by Akron.
Yeah.
Buffalo does come back with a couple kills here, but I think that Akron's winning this.
Yeah, Akron took the fight back, and looks like Buffalo used some ultimates there to try to finish off the point early, try to get the map win, but Akron's able to hold it off. And so now it's just gonna be that final fight. Who'll make the better plays? What ultimates they'll be using?
And it does look like Akron's kept this Tracer flanking behind the Buffalo team for most of this game, as the rest of the team is holding the high ground.
Yeah, so the main job of the Tracer here is not as much of a front line, just kind of shoot down the tanks and just kind of work down the other team. It's more of a keep their supports distracted, and try to get that crucial pick so that you can get the upper hand when you finally engage. But it looks like Buffalo here has taken all the Akron ultimates and kind of given them some of their own as they came on in the fight. And now it's just kind of up to them trying to stall. But doesn't look like anything will really be successful. And therefore, Buffalo will take the first map off of Akron, making the score 0-1.
And a really good job from Buffalo again there. Able to use that McCree ultimate to really secure that point at the end of the fight there. I wonder if looking into the the next map that we go into, is that the end of this map?
Yes, that is the end of the map. It's Buffalo took 2-0 on the points, and so therefore they take the entirety of the map.
I thought so. Okay, so it seems like for Buffalo, that McCree play, holding that ultimate until the end of the point is going to be something that's pretty important to them. Do you think there's anything that Akron should be looking into next time to maybe shut down that McCree? Do you think this is a key player for them?
So initially they have to deal with the dive, but the Monkey and the Diva in this case were diving in before they were even able to look at the McCree. And so once they deal with that front line, that's when the Tracer will come in really key, is to distract the enemy team in their back line. And so the Tracer jumping around all over the place with a flank will be able to take care of that damage that's really coming out and allowing him to get the free reign that he's been getting.
I see. So just like in other games, typically when somebody at this level looks really, really good, it's probably more because of something their team is doing to provide space for them, in that sort of way to let them carry, is what you're saying.
Yeah, so you can have those moments where someone gets a entire team wipe, but really it's just the fluidity of how well your team is doing and allowing you to capitalize on that is where oftentimes you'll get a large group of kill, or like how Shuckle there was able to get his large boop. It's a well-oiled machine where your team is able to jump in, take the point, and pretty much just lay the entire team down before they're able to do anything.
And I know that as a support main yourself, you probably live by that mantra of, it's always support diff, I don't care that my DPS had a quadruple that play of the game. My Ana nano boost is what got you those kills.
Yeah, at heart, it's just kind of like, all right, we all did it. But then on the scoreboard, it's just like, I wish those were my kills sometimes.
Well, that's
the fun thing about this game is you can really get that with most roles or most characters. Because with Lucio there, you can do the same thing as with the monkey primal. You can really get a 4K boop and just kind of like that was exhilarating and just wipe the entire team just by yourself single-handedly. And so that's
Either
what
that,
I enjoy.
or I am a big proponent of the patented Moira damage balls only playstyle. Back in my day when I played this game, that was, a big favorite of mine. It hurts the team sometimes, but you got to pump that damage out,
Yeah,
Can't win without damage.
got to get those nice skill orbs just randomly bouncing on the map and just finishing off that one health character after a fight. They just don't expect it coming out of the 7 points away.
Exactly. And that 95% kill participation card at the end of the game from all those little ticks you get is well worth it at the end.
Oh yes, it's very well worth it. So we're coming on to this next map here. It's Blizzard World, which is a hybrid where you have the initial point where you have to capture, and then it turns into a payload type map where you finish 2 more consecutive points by pushing the payload through. And so this is where we're able to get more of a push and pull with defense and kind of see how that goes with holding a position and giving ground.
Nice. I was hoping on this map that we might see some snipers come out, all these long lines of sight here, especially from the Akron boys. I'm trying to see him hit some skill shots,
Yeah, so far it looks like both teams are going with more of a long range picks here with Stunning up on the Widow and Live on the Hanzo for Buffalo. And so we'll get to see some more kind of one-on-one fights with the DPS, which is always exciting to see. And so we're looking on with Akron coming in here, they're going to look for more of a dive, whereas Buffalo in defense are looking for more of a brawl and kind of take the fight to Akron. So it'll be interesting to see how these two compositions go against each other.
Yeah, I'm interested to see for these guys. I feel like whenever I play on this map, it is so hard to defend this first point. To be fair, I'm bad, but
this first point is just this whole map is very interesting in the way it's designed. You have a lot of high ground possibilities, but there's just so many ways around the point, so it's very open once the fight is actually started. That there's a lot of open space on the sides, and so in this case, Akron's actually taking a spot that I very rarely see taken. It's one of the high grounds that normally you'll just kind of sit on initially and drop off of.
Yeah, this is an interesting angle that Akron's trying to come in here from. I'm guessing that, being a hybrid sort of map, that Buffalo's mainly just trying to buy up as much time on this first point as they can, and then the actual stall will probably come when they're trying to push the payload.
Yeah, so with this point, with hybrids, you get a full 4 minutes when you start the map, but the amount of time you get per point that you capture will slowly reduce in the amount. So you'll get 2.5 minutes once you complete the second point with the payload, and then you'll get a 1:30 after that. And so it's just kind of like if you can't capture it initially, you're just pressed for time the whole way through.
And that was definitely a quick first cap from the Akron boys. Still got 5 minutes to get on to that next point.
Yes, they're punishing Buffalo's brawl and trying to find out their supports and different characters. And so they're doing very well at capitalizing, working as a team here with their dives. Right now they're trying to get that Zarya that Buffalo was left alone there in the corner. But now the rest of the team comes in. Shuckle popping the primal, getting some good kills there.
These last 2 matches, these Winston ults have been big for Akron.
Yeah, he's been opening quite a bit of space, trying to finish off that monkey. He gets him. That's a full reset from Buffalo.
And the spawn camp.
Yeah, Akron is absolutely rolling through second point here. But looks like Buffalo is switching up their comp to deal with the high ground and large mobility that Akron has. They find Buffalo finds a pick on Akron's Widowmaker, but as we go into the fight, we used a pulse bomb trying to kill the monkey. Doesn't find the kill they were looking for.
It does seem like Buffalo has been able to slow him down a little bit, at least get him off the point momentarily from that roll that they had earlier, and managing to get a few picks here, so Akron will probably have to back up.
Yeah, Akron's looking to reset now they've lost their Widowmaker to put down suppressing fire and kind of give them better control of their space. But now Buffalo is looking to have a lot of ults online, whereas Akron is going to see if they can unseat them with little use. Buffalo tries to get a nice pulse in, doesn't find anybody. Both grabs out from both teams, but both rallies. This is going to be one hectic fight here as the monkey goes in deep for Buffalo. Pops a primal, trying to secure kills on the supports. But the fight's kind of going on in 7 different spots across the map.
Also, that seemed like a lot of ultimates popped just to counteract each other, not really to get any kills.
Yeah, both teams kind of tried to stabilize each other by using their respective ultimates. Still a pretty even fight, but looks like Buffalo, since they had some more control of the high ground, they were able to keep control. Akron looking to regroup and come in here with some of the remaining ultimates they have. Probably gonna look at Shuckle here for another good control of their area.
It did look like a fight with there was the double grab, double Brigitte ult,
double grab, double rally. Pulse bombs came up both sides. So now Akron's engaging on the tanks of Buffalo, while Shuckle's in the back line, absolutely smacking them around like before, trying to secure some kills here. Looks like he gets stuck though on the map geometry, trying to jump around.
That's a dangerous thing about fighting close quarters, I guess.
Yeah, and this map has, playing on it for so long, it has some weird corners and angles. You get stuck on a bush and be like, yeah. Buffalo grabbing Akron. Good bubble from Magic there to protect from the pulse bomb kill. He was able to throw it on his Brigitte before it went off, saving everybody inside the grav. Sadly, it does not look like enough as Akron regroups yet again while Buffalo keeps hold of the high ground.
Yeah, we do still see Akron have their grab, though. They didn't try to double in that fight. Probably smart, because it looked like they were pretty much outnumbered anyway. So now Akron's going to have to be the one to try and make the proactive play. Get back on the track, get it moving.
They've been running the clock down here and looking to get the next point in before overtime hits. Taking the high ground, but it's monkey versus monkey at this point on top of the giant turret in the center of the map.
This is what this game has come to. Monkeys fighting on top of the giant turret. That's the main event.
Yup. Going for round 2, it seems, but the Buffalo's monkey jumped over. Big grab coming out from Akron, looking to secure some kills with it. But Buffalo's pushing back with an equal amount of ultimates, trying to get some kills on their supports. Right now, it's just kind of everyone's in a mess. Buffalo getting some picks on Akron, trying to win over that final fight. You're getting low on time here, so looking to see whoever gets to the point first with more of a team presence.
It does seem like these Lucio sound barriers have been coming in really big for Buffalo. Although with this fight going on so long, didn't the Brigitte just pop her ultimate?
Yeah, initially they popped the rally, and now just the fight's going on for so long, and there's been so much damage. Pulse bombs from both teams find a kill on both tanks. It's just coming down to whoever's got the faster ultimate charge here. Both Brigittes smacked into each other on the ground. 1v1 holding left to click. Good sleep on the Tracer coming out from Midtown, man. Able to really give them the upper hand in this fight. Looking like Akron's going to take this second point and push it to third.
I like to switch the ham into, rolling back and keep them on their spawn a little bit longer.
Gotta get back to that point fast.
Oh. A little bit of a high noon pop there. I'm not sure what.
Don't know what that was about, but
I'm sure that's what it was.
Yeah.
He wanted to build up some more ultimate charge because he knew that this next fight was coming up most likely.
Yeah, he got to work that ultimate. Good kill on the monkey early fight, so it looks like Akron's going to try to get a good engage in here. Get some good space, push the cart for free while the other team's still regrouping. Securing a little bit more kills, pushing in further. All the while, they're just getting free cart push with pretty much no contest. Shuckle's in pretty deep, gets killed for his actions. Good pulse bomb coming out on the Kree. But Akron's finally forced back after taking that point.
Very reminiscent of the first point as well. Getting it really far pushed up, so much free time, but then getting really heavily countered on the respawns. Starts to make you think if maybe Akron's trying to push this a little bit too hard. Maybe it would have been better to back up and reset on the card a little bit there. But I mean, they still have time. They're going to push them a couple.
This will be the final fight going in here. Both teams are very stacked on ultimates. grab coming out from Buffalo, catches Shuckle, but his insane amount of health and healing coming out from Akron is just kind of keeping him alive. Both teams popping ultimates whenever they get them. Trying to control that space with the high noon from Buffalo, but now it's Akron's turn. They both find nothing, but it's just kind of a get the pick first. Whoever wins, whoever gets the kill will win.
Pick from Akron. See, he already had that high noon back up. It was calculated. New.
Buffalo finding some even ground here, but it's just down to the wire. Both teams are both very low, but it looks like the respawns from Buffalo are going to do Akron in here as they try to finish off this ball who's able to stall him so insanely long.
Oh my gosh. Yeah,
he'll get some shields every 10 seconds roughly, and for each enemy character you get about 100 shield, and so you're able to just live for so long and just swinging around.
Now, can this Tracer stall? No. That was, again, pretty long there.
Yeah, that was a good stall coming out from Akron, but they just didn't have enough ultimates to break the hold that Buffalo was putting there.
And so now, if I'm correct, they'll switch sides, and then Buffalo just has to get further than that, right?
Yeah, so they still have to complete the all the way up until that point, and then they have to push past where the Akron was able to get to the cart.
Gotcha.
And so, yeah, it'll just kind of be push further in, and they'll start off just flipping sides. It'll be interesting to see what they choose to go here after playing a full, pretty much 5 minutes on that second point. Might want to look to mirror the compositions that they had.
Yeah, I mean, it seemed like that was a lot of really close fights. I wouldn't expect them to make too many changes. I really feel like, one ultimate goes different here, and any given fight could have really changed the tides of that game.
Yeah, pretty similar to when Akron attacked. Now they're coming out with the Widowmaker for Buffalo, looking to get that early pick in when they have all of that open space on first point. But Akron's looking to dive back on top of them with the with Midtown Man going on the Ana. Gives them really good support at longer ranges, since she's able to heal over long distance effectively. And so they're just looking to keep control of all that open space on the first point. Buffalo coming in, scouting out for where Akron's sitting. Really can only find the monkey sitting up there on top.
And I am surprised how far back they sit on this first point. I mean, I guess that's what Buffalo did too last time, trying to take this high ground here, looking down over it.
Yeah, Buffalo goes in for the early dive. The monkey gets stunned and pushed back, but they took a little bit, and Stun Ape was able to find the kill on the Brigitte while she was sitting out waiting for the dive. And now it's just a matter of cleaning up the rest of their team. Gets a good pick on Eric there, getting him the last second before she gets killed with the Widowmaker.
Yeah, that was pretty big. It looked like she was getting jumped on by a monkey and hit the shot mid bounce.
Just closed her eyes, took the shot, and just accepted death at that point. Go down with one of the other team.
We saw those headshots. It was pretty clean looking on the McCree.
Akron reset now, and Buffalo looking into dive in a different fashion. Kind of reassess how they're going to unseat this 4 of their players from the high ground there, with the monkey able to dive in, the Tracer able to come back really quick. And so now it's just kind of, how do you deal with every ability the other team has and force it out of them? Akron with the Nano, their monkey's just trying to push down onto the enemy team, able to just put so much damage into their supports and their squishy targets. Just too much damage coming out from Akron for Buffalo to effectively deal with it here.
And it looked like Midtown Man on the Ana got a really big anti there, especially I saw on the Lucio, got pretty much deleted because he got anti-healed with the Ana grenade. I think that really changed the tide of that fight.
Yeah, with Buffalo's team comp here, getting most of your team antied, no one really has much of a stall once you can't get the area of effect heals from both their supports. And so that just renders half your team useless if you just take that much damage in that amount of time. But both teams coming up on a lot of ultimates and big ults. Buffalo trying to deal with the grab. Beat comes out. Both grabs are out. Big
Big
pulse
pulse
bomb from
bomb.
Jaden. Both big pulse bombs, but Akron's still trying to clean up some of the squishy targets from Buffalo. Both teams use almost all their ultimates, but we'll see how that goes into the fight here. Midtown Man getting the sleep on the McCree, trying to desperately get the kill.
Yeah, it's gonna be a
But
big stagger.
Buffalo coming in back with trying to reset quickly. Be able to take 2 fights for the clock finishes.
Yeah, Akron's done a really good job, just chewing time off this clock on this first point here. It is a little bit curious. Now we see Buffalo make the switch to the Hammond, but those first 2 pushes, they basically tried to do the same thing, it seems. Like, have the Winston jump in and then have their dive come in and kind of kill the other Winston. And both times it went just about as successfully. Maybe that second time was a little closer, but now are going to make the change to the
Yeah,
Hammond.
Buffalo coming in hard, managed to unseat the Akron team, but Akron just popping ultimates to come back at him with a rally. I know that's Buffalo rallying, my bad. But looks like the whole team is just all over the place, trying to secure those final kills while they're before the respawns come back. But looks like Akron has some solid control of the 5 on the point. Getting pretty low on time here. It's going to be closing in on final fight, so it's kind of time to use those ultimates, get those kills. Still pretty even. Big pulse bomb coming out, killing the main source of damage there for Akron. Buffalo seems to be able to take the control of the point at the bare end of the clock here.
A couple of really big kills there from Buffalo are going to open up this point. Last second, they're going to get it, huh?
Yeah. Now they're moving on to second point with 2 minutes and 30 seconds in their time bank. Still pressed on time. Don't have as much as the 5 minutes Akron had to come in here, so they're really going to try to effectively push in, get those kills while they still can.
Yeah, and that was kind of surprising that it seemed like those first 2 pushes that Buffalo had in that first point, they were trying for the dive, but like we had said before, had the Zarya instead of the Winston. They're like, okay, first 2 dives didn't work, let's switch it up, dive harder. We know that'll work, and it did. It got to the point.
Yeah, that ball definitely was able to displace a lot of the Akron team there. Put them all on the low ground, and just the sheer amount of damage that comes out from the rest of their comp will be able to. Oh, we are currently paused. Maybe a disconnect from one of the 2 teams. We'll have to see where this goes, but yeah, the dive from Akron coming in just.
Yeah, although we did see this last, when Akron was on attack last time, pushing up a little bit much and then maybe getting picked, opening up some space for, the counterattack to get staggered with the team. We'll have to see if Akron's going to try and, do that again, overextend a little bit too much, might be something to watch out for.
Yeah, looks like Akron is still having some connection issues here, and we'll see how long that pause goes. The way that pauses work in most competitive leagues, that is, if you get 3 pauses, each amounting up to 5 minutes, and they can be used consecutively. So you can have up to 15 minutes of technical issues, but after that, that's when your time will kind of run out, and you'll start to have to forfeit maps and get some subs in.
I see.
So we'll see if I can get these finished, or get this connection fixed.
Looks like they are missing out on the support player. You trying to hop in there, Paul? How about our
No, thanks.
Can we get you on the cast while you're playing, if all possible?
No.
Just explain.
Well, I think the comms will kind of be a little difficult there.
Nah, no comms. You're too good. You don't need
no comms. Just straight as it is, just pure Overwatch.
Yeah, and going back to how that Buffalo was able to take that first point again, I do think it was kind of interesting. Like we had said, the first 2 dives didn't seem to work. They switched to the Hammond, dive extra hard, and at first it seemed like Akron was able to shut it down. I believe they popped the Brigitte ult and were able to stall out the fight long enough, get the picks. But that Hammond ended up coming in big, I believe, along with the Tracer for Buffalo, and they were sort of able to just skirt around the outskirts of the point and just sort of, dip in and out, hold off the fight long enough to where Akron sort of scattered themselves trying to chase the kills. And then the respawns coming in from Buffalo did allow them to take the point there. So it seems like that Hammond was a really good idea for them to switch to.
Definitely. It allowed them much more control of the high ground to, first of all, clear them off the high ground, but also just to kind of cause some confusion, let the Tracer get some picks in here or there. And with that pulse bomb coming out after Akron started to use some ultimates, it was able to finish off the fight and get some key characters out of the way for Buffalo to come in and just kind of slam it home and get that point capture.
And as you said, Buffalo was able to get that point at the last second, but they do have a lot less time than the Akron boys did. We know that coming through this choke right here was a really tough thing. Buffalo was able to take a lot of time off the clock here. Do you think there's anything Akron should be doing differently, to try and really just make it so they can't even get on the point like Buffalo was able to do to Akron here?
So it all comes down to how well can you control the space on second point, because it's a very wide open point for Overwatch in general. There's so many different ways you can flank around. There's bunches of different rooms, and there's just a ton of high ground that really doesn't have any good way to get to from the attacking side, except for maybe one or two major spots. And so if they can hold down those points and just kind of keep them where they can control them easier, I feel that Akron has a good chance of at least running down the clock, if not full holding on the second point.
And I do notice that both teams have switched off those snipers that they were on in the first points there off the Widowmakers. Is that typical? Do you think that it was because they maybe just weren't feeling the sniper, feeling the shots weren't on, or is it something along the lines of a change in strategy?
So usually whenever you get a sniper out of the gate like that, you're looking for a quick, easy pick without any kind of like punish for switching off that character. But this late into a round, you're looking at, all right, where can we get a better character with a better ultimate rather than just looking for a random pick. But with the compositions that are currently being run with just heavy dive from both sides and a lot of bubbles and shields, you're not really going to find as many opportunities as if you just had a regular DPS character coming out and using their abilities with your whole dive.
Yeah, it is interesting to see too, as we've sort of touched on before, both of these teams playing nearly identical comps, I mean, one switch out of the DPS, Akron running with the McCree, which seems to have been working out for them, and then Buffalo going with the Echo. But I feel like this one that's been more of a, sort of shift in the game is that Midtown Man has been on the Ana, where the Buffalo player's been on Lucio. And it seems like that Lucio sound barrier has been able to get them out of some sticky spots so far this game. Do you think that this Ana, I know you mentioned before that, mainly the use for that is long range support, being able to get those heals from far away. Do you think that it's it's doing its job well enough?
Yeah, the interesting thing about Ana's kit is she's the only character in the game to be able to deny healing, except besides a shield. So she can just completely anti you for a good 4 or 5 seconds. And with Buffalo's comp, they only have really kind of slow but like consistent healing. And so if you're able to cancel that out while Buffalo's diving in, you're able to kind of just put a whole stop on them. It looks like we are currently back in the game. All of our connection problems seem to be solved here. And
yeah, I mean, Akron bias here. I didn't want to say it, but that's the only reason we lost that point. Of course, is because Midtown name was lagging. Now that he's got him on a good connection,
got to restart the game real quick. Yeah, if you saw right there with the Midtown Man POV, he was able to get a good ante on the brig, and she just had no way of living with a full dive of Akron coming after her. And so Midtown Man just holding his own against all the different dives that are coming at him and just in general. But it looks like the Echo from Buffalo might turn the tides here with double monkey and a ball. That's just a lot of just shield and bodies coming at your face.
I would not want to be supporting the Akron team.
Both monkeys just chasing the McCree around on the high grounds. He's just running for dear life now. Midtown Man throws the nano onto him, but just doesn't survive there. Yeah, now it's just kind of Akron coming in trying to force back their dive now that the Akron ultimates ran out, but just so many respawns and all the abilities coming back online for Buffalo, they're able to push back and keep their space while Akron's still, they threw a grab in here, missed the pulse bomb to the monkey bubble, but Midtown Man still hitting those antes, just crucial component of the game right here.
And Akron's not going to have any big ultimates coming up here yet for a little bit here. But
we're down in overtime, and so both teams are fighting it out, but looks like Akron's gotten key picks and wiping up the rest of Buffalo. And as the timer runs out, it looks like it will be Akron taking map 2, making the score an even 1-1 for both teams.
Very nice there from the Akron boys. I was a little worried for a second there. I saw that grab get pretty much completely negated by the Winston bubble, the pulse bomb miss off of that. And it seemed like, they weren't really going to have any other ultimates coming up there, where Buffalo did have some coming up, but they were just doing more damage, I guess. Maybe a big anti from the Ana again, but, they were able to secure that pretty well.
Yeah, usually whenever you get a large time bank like Akron did, you kind of get those nerves setting in of we got to get this. We've been at this for a couple minutes now. We've wasted a lot of time, but being able to come around just like that and hold it on the second point as soon as they come in after such a good hold on first, Akron was able to kind of counter pick, get that Ana in there, and shut down Buffalo's dive, and they were able to keep the map going and turn it to their favors.
Yeah, that is pretty funny. You get that. It seems like you almost get handed that first point if you're Akron. Last time we even went into that point saying, "Oh, this seems like it's a hard one to break into." There's so many different angles that can be, looked at it from. And then Akron get on it in like 30 seconds. They've got like 5 minutes to push. It's like, okay, we're kind of throwing if we don't get this pretty far now. Luckily, they were able to do it that time. They got it far enough, and were also able to hold off Buffalo on their attack in the next round.
Yeah, you just never know when you're coming onto an attack point. It can go one way or the other for the full 4 minutes, and like the last second, you're just able to barely turn that point over, or you just get completely held, or you get completely rolled on the first point. It's just the nature of the game. Someone gets a good pick, and that's just the rest. That's it for your team.
And so far, these teams trading even in the match so far, 1-1. Looks like they're a pretty even match here, especially, as we talked about before, almost running basically, exact comps to each other. Do you think that's just sort of the state of the game? I know we talked about how dive has been pretty popular, or do you think it's more of, okay, well, if they're going to play a Winston, we probably also need a Winston too to cancel each other out?
Yeah, especially now that they're a couple maps in, they've definitely felt each other out and are learning kind of the play styles of each team. And so being able to run like a duplicate comp like that, where they're practically mirroring each other except for a pick for a character or two, they're able to see, okay, this is kind of how they deal with this composition. Let's try to force them off of their comfort picks, try to dive out the Ana. So that's what I really like to see with Gibraltar coming up here. It's a full escort map, but there is a lot of high ground, but not much open flank. And so it's really going to be who controls what points of the map, who controls the high ground. And if you can unseat them, you're able to get a good attack in and take the points as you go.
Very interesting. Yeah, this map is one of my favorites. Again, I'll be really curious to see, if either team decides to bring out the snipers, coming out the first gates there, get an easy pick there. But like you said, a lot of really long lines of sight, especially if you like on the very start of the payload route, and then at the very end as well. You get a lot of really long chances for picks. So be curious to see if they stick with the comps they've been running so far, or maybe change it up a little bit.
Yeah, this first point here is very good for Widowmaker duels. You're able to see pretty much as far as your game can render for the it's probably one of the longest sight lines on the map. But I'm really hoping to see some 1v1s here from the Widowmakers.
And going into this one, what would you say is like the hardest part of the map to hold? Do you think that it's probably, going into this first point, going under the bridge, I know is a tough spot to be because you have to surrender the high ground to the enemy team, to get that cart moved. Where do you think is the chance for Akron here to really get, a lot of time off the clock on this hold?
So there's two really good digging points on this map. The first one will be in first point with that bridge. Usually teams will get it kind of going underneath, and once it starts to go back up the hill, that's when the opposing team will start to push back and try to resist you pushing that cart up the hill completely, because that's where you can get a good control of the high grounds from. And then on second point, there's a giant space shuttle in the center of a large open room, and there's really only 4 small doorways you can get through, all in the same kind of wall and sight lines. So you can really get stuffed in if there's a sniper that's just kind of holding you off or trying to get the flanker coming out. You can kind of see where they're all coming from. And it looks like
I'm gonna see it from Buffalo.
Yeah, Buffalo coming out with the Widow.
Akron holding very far back again. Farther back than I expected. I feel like, in my casual games, that aren't this high level, obviously, you'd see people like almost right outside the doors waiting to,
Yeah,
try and
they
stop
looking
the
for that
push.
blood.
Yeah. But I guess Akron, knows, okay, this is where we have the best hold. It doesn't matter if we give them a little bit of free time in the point because this is the area where we're really going to have success stopping them. And so far, it's working. A couple picks right off the bat.
Yeah, as you can see here, the cart's starting to go in that little rut underneath the bridge, and that's getting stalled out there and not being able to push off Akron here. It's Buffalo's gonna have a hard time unseating all the different points where they're sitting, especially with that Ana in the far back. You have a lot of sight line for the Ana, but they have to commit so many resources to be able to even touch her, let alone kind of kill her or force her off the high ground. That Akron's sitting very nicely here, controlling the point.
And we do see a couple different heroes coming out so far that we haven't seen so far in this match. I'd say particularly the Mercy coming out, looking like she's pretty much looking to pocket that McCree, just sort of create space for him and let him get into all these long sight lines.
Yeah, Mercy will really let a McCree get more of a fight in. Oh, they nano the high noon with the damage boost, and so that would have allowed Alex or Stunape to get really quick draws on it and get some good kills. But looks like Akron's getting forced back behind some corners while Buffalo's just laying out the damage for their team. And Akron finally falls, and first point goes to Buffalo as they push through this gate. Now, normally, if you get a good regroup on defense here, you're able to get a good hold. But it looks like everyone died around roughly the same time, and for Akron, they're not going to get that good spot on top of the shuttle. As
Yeah, it did seem like Akron was doing a pretty good job holding there until, Stunape on the McCree did try and jump down. Maybe they take out one of the carries or supports and then got jumped on by like three people, immediately shut down, which, sort of slowed a lot of the Akron momentum up.
He took a big risk, took a big swing, and end up missing, and then Buffalo was able to just kind of capitalize on on Stunape being out of position. But now it looks like that the Primal's coming out from Shuckle, trying to control the high ground, get damage in. But I think Buffalo here is looking to take some of that back at them, just keep the cart moving. They've got lots of ultimates come online to invest here, so Shuckle falling out, looking kind of stuck there.
A little bit. Yeah, an overextension sometimes happens to the best of us. Sadly, it also happens to the worst. But because our Akron boys are here, I'm confident that we are dealing with the best and that they are going to be able to turn this around.
Magic able to find the kill on the Zenyatta, but looks like it's too far and in between for the Buffalo damage, and the Buffalo really forcing in that dive.
A really long, drawn-out fight here happening on the second fight. It seems like they've pretty much been, spawns coming in, and this fight's just sort of been happening around the point for the entirety of, the last 2 minutes or so.
Big diva bomb coming out from Buffalo here to be able to clear the point of any Akron team. But now it just looks like a good attempt to stall. A couple of ultimates coming out. But if Buffalo is able to put down some damage here, get some good picks on the supports of Akron, they should be able to take this point nice and clean.
Ooh,
big pulse bomb coming out.
Oh my! Alive is popping off on this train.
Alive just absolutely rolling over Akron coming in for the stall. They aren't able to put up any defense. Akron resetting so they can get a full group on third point here.
Man. That was a really big play from Alive there. And now, Buffalo still has almost 4 minutes going to this last point. That's going to be a hard hold.
Yeah, that's definitely putting pressure on Akron here. And what do you think's going to happen with all this, with all the ultimates, just constant snowballing here? What do you think's how Akron's going to deal with it?
Well, it does look like Akron has a few coming up. They've got the Primal Fury, they've got the Pulse Bomb coming up, and they also have the Valkyrie's Offense. Is that what it's called? Mercial. And, I think the Mercy ult, which already has been popped, is going to be a big hold tool. Buffalo's really been diving hard for this point already. They just have not taken their foot off the gas pedal since, that first point was taken.
But now Akron seems with the Valks definitely help them stabilize and just kind of push back the dive, kill off the dive tanks, and just kind of let the rest of their team just put that brake on.
I
Carts
know,
finally stopped moving.
I know the chuckle probably killed like 2 or 3 people before he got taken out by that baby diva. It was a funny thing to see though, to see the baby diva with the pea shooter
It's
take
always
out.
a sad day whenever the pea shooter gets a kill.
Yeah, like I said, I'm sure that he had probably just won a fight against like 4 people and then just couldn't live all the way through it. He's also back with the respawn in time for the hold, so it's
Got
not
that
that.
primal looking to jump in there on the Buffalo. Good pulse coming up from Jade, and not able to find any kills with it.
Akron looking really rich and ults coming up on this fight too.
Yeah, they're looking to use as little as they can to kind of keep that point to able to stall this out for as long as possible. That Bob is definitely gonna help out keeping keeping their team at bay, but gets slept. Buffalo's trying to use some of that Ana, kind of keep their tanks alive, get some of that get the nano in, get the antis in. But those sleeps are definitely game changers if you can hit them at the right time.
Yeah, very interesting placement of the Bob too. At first, I thought it might have been a bit of an accident that he hit that wall, but it actually worked out pretty well in keeping Buffalo out of the point. Not just throwing Bob into the full team. Maybe he's not necessarily looking for kills on Bob there, but using it as a really great zoning tool just to make Buffalo really have to back up and just say, okay,
Yeah.
we'll wait until the Bob's gone.
Bob will work like that, like a Creole as well, where just kind of instead of just damage or kills, you're looking to control a good amount of space for long enough. Good shot coming up from Stun Ape there on the Ana. That'll definitely force Buffalo to do a little bit of a soft poke, but really kind of reassess, and get their Ana back for probably putting out all their ults here. They're coming up on 5, maybe 6 ults, seeing if they're gonna pop all of them, get some good picks, and just kind of force this point back into third and go swap sides.
And for how hard Buffalo was pushing in these first 2 points of this match, Akron's been doing a really good job with the ult control so far, just keeping these Buffalo players back.
Yeah, Buffalo finds the pick on Midtown Man there on the Ana, but Akron's able to just kind of push back as they exhausted too many abilities there from Buffalo, and they're able to take that point, keep a hold here going into final fight.
Stunnipe doing a really good job on this Ash. He has just had free reign of this high ground.
Oh, he had Caster Curse. You had to say it. He gets put down by a live there on the Widowmaker. Oh,
I am very
sleep on that monkey. Caster Curse.
Well, I mean, his respawn should still be coming back up.
Shuckle absolutely throwing himself into the backline of Buffalo there, able to find the supports, but Alive just putting down that damage, taking care of Stun Knife there again as he comes back from spawn. Down to the wire, whoever has the most, whoever's got the most respawns there. But it looks like Akron's going to be able to get a good regroup in here. Maybe Hope pulled it off, pulled out the Baptiste switch. They've got a lot of sustainability here in the final moments of the fight. That Bob putting out so much damage there.
That interaction with the invincibility field with the Bob on point there, very interesting interaction. Does that also make it so Bob can't die too?
Yeah, so Bob is technically treated as a character for most of the game. So he can push a cart, he can get nanoed, he can get kills, and he can be bubbled. He can be immorted too. So it's if you can get a good immor as Bob's about just taking a bunch of damage, he can just pretty much be a point presence, block the cart movement, and just in that case secure a lot of the damage and kills for Akron there to be able to hold that point at the very end of the map here.
Yeah, what a big brain switch there at the end, honestly, just keeping that Bob alive on point and able to stall it out. But that is also going to be really important because now if Akron can complete this map in the time allotted, they'll just straight up win, correct?
Yeah, so if they can get to that final point and get to where Buffalo stalled out, they'll be able to take this map from them, and that will put whichever team gets the win here at a match point with a 2-1 lead.
Do you think I was about to ask if you thought the Bastion was going to be serious.
No, that's they're just looking for fun, make the other team second guess what they're really thinking about there. Maybe a Bastion, maybe get all that shield up there.
I mean, hey, I'd be down. Although honestly, after Stunape's performance on this Ash the last round, I don't see why he would go with anything different. I feel like he was a really big part of them being able to literally just burn 4 minutes off that last point. Really impressive hold, largely due to Stunape in that last round.
That damage boosted dynamite really just does so much damage and just pushes the entire team back if they're just all on fire. Not to mention it gives him so much ult charge. He can, with if he gets a good damage boosted dynamite, he can get his Bob in 1 or 2 dynamites. That's like 20, 30 seconds if you can keep it going. It's Ash is, yeah, sadly though, Ash does get outranged by a Widowmaker sometime. You just got to deal with it. But Buffalo really hitting both sides on Akron here, but that sleep on the monkey hopefully is able to get a good kill, and they find it on the monkey.
Nice.
Akron's now able to push forward here, take some high grounds, push them back. Big anti coming out from Midtown Man on the supports on the high ground. Stun Ape able to find the kill on the Zenyatta, and Magic just throwing so much damage with his right clicks.
That is so scary. Just peeking out at that Widow, just like trying to take pot shots. It definitely seems like these Buffalo DPS players, pulling out the Widow was alive in the last round and now Racer in this round have been looking pretty scary. Yeah. I would definitely be scared.
They're definitely putting up a fight. They're not letting this point go easy. That bomb, the Diva bomb comes out hoping to get some good big kills, but it really just kind of pushes Akron back, and now they're able to pretty much give it back right to them. Stun Ape just absolutely throwing out damage on the high ground. Melts down the monkey. They're able to find the Diva mech kill, and they're just absolute control on this point.
Gosh.
Oh, that pulse bomb unfortunately gets the other Tracer mid-blink. Buffalo putting out some good stall. Hopefully Akron's able to finish them off, and they do, getting that first point. Maybe get some staggers on Buffalo here as they try to regroup, get 6 on the second point. But Akron's still putting the gas on.
Buffalo has not been able to touch Stun Ape on this Ash these last 2 rounds. I mean, as soon as he switched to it on that last point, he just sits up on these high grounds, and his tanks just make so much space for him. I mean, he's just taking pot shots all the way across the map.
He just utilizes all of the high ground control that he's got, and he's just got free reign. Big grab coming on the Primal, forcing an ultimate for an ultimate, but in the end, it'll just, and the pulse bomb as he tries to desperately flee. Oh, sad day for their monkey. But Buffalo's able to push back with some damage, and coming out of that bunker, they're able to take this point and push Akron back to reassess and regroup. Yeah, keeping that.
Have to retreat for now.
That Widow be now it's especially strong here with this choke point on second, as I was saying earlier. That Widowmaker is able to see all 4 spots and able to just put damage down as Akron tries to come in. That monkey going hard on their Ana on Midtown Man. Midtown Man gets away in the old spawn, while Shuckle tries to knock down everyone from the high ground. Stun Ape gets the kill in the chaos.
Midtown Man's been popping off with these sleeps. He's been hitting like everyone.
He's very well known for his Ana and his gameplay with her. Able to land a lot of those antis, which are very crucial in times like this, where you just got the whole team grouped up, bearing down on you. If you get a good anti off, your DPS can do some permanent damage on them. Big grab coming out from Buffalo there, cancels out the nano on the Zarya. Able to find that kill, negating the ultimate. But Akron forced to push back here as Buffalo just keeps bearing down on him.
You do still have quite a bit of time going into this second point, but Buffalo, we saw what Akron was able to do to Buffalo last time with 4 minutes, on that last point, able to make a pretty big hold. So, Akron's going to have to be able to take the second one soon if they want to, make it to the push.
Yeah, both sides are just trading blows here with the snipers left and right. Stun Apes. Oh, that was Shuckle that died. I thought that was Stun Ape from the POV. But, yeah, just they have so much damage coming out with that Ana now. They've realized just how good the antis are. And they're just putting up such a good fight here. Both teams just trading ultimates, trading players. And so really just kind of see who gets more picks, who's able to use an ultimate better, get those crucial moments here. Akron coming in with some good ultimates, trying to get some Stun Ape damage in there, get a pulse bomb stick maybe. Shuckle wants to clear that high ground of all the squishies and supports.
Oh my, they are really chilling up there, huh?
Akron's able to get some damage in there, throws out the Bob, trying to get that desperate kill. Eric gets the Glock, gets the mercy kill on the Widowmaker.
Who needs a Diva piece here? Eric. Oh,
and another nice shot on that from Alex coming on that Tracer. She just mid-air, just puts her down. Looks like Akron's able to secure final kills here to push it into third point. And now they have about 2 or 3 minutes to get that third push. They don't have to make it all the way, just have to make it to where Buffalo got. But they're just steamrolling them, trying to get those spawn kills. They get the Ana, which is a huge pick. They might want to pull back here now, or they're going in for the Zen. Oh, that Zen was one. Oh, and Jaden gets punished for it. Unfortunate. Oh, Stunape able to get the kill. Pulse Bomb comes out from Buffalo, trying to force back Akron, take back the ground, but it's just not enough. Akron regroups now.
I mean, again, even all the way back to the first, first map of the set, it does seem like Akron does have a bit of a tendency to overextend sometimes. They get in there, which is respectable, but at the same time, we did see Jaden jumping in there trying to get that kill on the Zenyatta, really close, but does get punished when he can't get the last hit.
Yeah, big grab coming out here from Magic, getting both tanks. That monkey gets absolutely blown up by that pulse bomb. Shuckle bearing down on the back line while the rest of Buffalo is just either dead or just kind of forced away. Maybe Stunape's going to look for this high ground here, and he does, looking for that control, just putting out damage. Puts down the Widow as soon as she comes out, and just Akron able to throw that Bob out. They just have complete point control, and that makes it go for Akron with a third map here, making it 2-1 match point for Akron.
Yeah, really great job from Akron there on that second point. Almost gets stalled out on that second point right there. They were able to come up with Buffalo able to come up with a couple big kills. It seemed like they were just sort of able to eliminate all that space that they were giving Stunape for the the first and last point of this game and also the previous round. Maybe just the tanks weren't quite able to get into the back line quite as much, whatever it was. But Stunape coming in big with the 18,000 damage there, player card.
That is a good chunk of damage. Yeah, they were on second point. They were able to shut down Stunape, not let him get his sight lines, not let him get set up with open space. But on third point, they were just consistently down from being staggered out. That Ana kill was huge. And then the Zenyatta kill, they were just able to tickle down the enemy team and just take the high grounds, push them back into their spawn, even get kills right as they come out of spawn, and just take that point all the way home with little resistance from Buffalo.
Definitely. Now going into this last map, Akron on match point, I think that, just put Stunape on Ash, dude. put him on a hit scan. He's popping off right now.
Call him the one-trick player there. Just keep him going.
Hey, nothing wrong with being a one-trick if it works.
No, he's a very good player and is able to play a variety of different characters in this game, and it's just. But if you can get that one character that's just pushing down the enemy team, just punishing him, it's just if it works, don't change anything. Just keep it going.
For sure. Yeah, I was very impressed that last match from Alive too. He had the really big quad on the Tracer on second point on their attack, and then also a couple really big kills on the Widowmaker coming out too. The caster curse on
the caster curse, putting them down, and then as soon as Stunape respawn, put them down again. It's just marked for death there. But yeah, his Tracer play was amazing there on second point, just finding all the different corners and nooks that Midtown Man was hiding in, that just the backline for Akin just wasn't able to deal with it. And then just the pulse bombs coming out were getting 1-2 people every time, and just once that third point came around, it just got hard for him to push in. He just didn't have a way in anymore.
Yeah, I mean, Alive coming out with a couple really big kills there on the Widowmaker, but with how much space they were creating for Stunape, it just wasn't able to happen consistently enough to, really break that last point. And in the end, that 4-minute hold really came out big for them. They don't need to go into OT rounds. They just get to, take their win and walk.
They dug in their heels and just kind of pushed it back. They stalled out a little bit there on second point. But once they were able to kind of deal with the enemy team, deal with that Tracer that was just harassing them, they were able to finally push it over. And just getting those spawn picks are just so crucial when you're trying to roll through a point. Just because they got the support the first time, and then they were able to get them at a second time. It was just being down crucial teammates like that. It's just very hard to put up a good fight there at the very end when the other teams has all those ultimates to use.
Definitely. And, going into our fourth map here, looks like it's going to be Hanamura. That one is another one. I feel like that second point can be so frustrating to break sometimes, especially I'd imagine at a, really competitive level like this where, everybody's sticking together. What do you think about this map?
So this map is map type itself is very interesting, but Hanamura specifically, because yes, there's a lot of open space around the points, but there's really not a good way in for the attacking side. And so first point, you can use a Symmetra teleporter to go to point, go around the point, kind of just like speed through a hallway. But second point, you really have two, maybe three ways of entry, either through the front door or up on the high ground, both of which are very easily holdable or contestable by just forcing back with some damage or some giant tanks there. But at this level of play, it's just down to your teamwork, coordination, and whoever makes a mistake first will usually get punished on that second point.
Yeah, we'll definitely see. I do think this is another one of those where it's like I feel like it either goes down to the very wire, you're capping that second point in OT, trying to stall the cap, or it's like it's over in like 2 minutes. You get the first point right away, run straight to second point and get it before like respawns are even coming in.
Yeah,
So
these map types are very, very interesting with how they turn out. And so it really just comes down to whoever makes a mistake first, whoever who hits a great shot or just gets that good pick going out, just pretty much finding the gaps in the enemy team's armor. So it looks like Buffalo here is going to go and attack first with Akron defending. Sticking with the Ashe, though.
I was going to say, I'm happy to see Stunite back on that Ashe. Until it stops working, I think that it's a good idea. But you do see Buffalo coming out here with the Reinhardt. I think
they're coming out with more of a brawl than any sort of dive here. They really just want to take that point presence and hold it. They're looking for Stunite up there on the high ground. That Hanzo and McCree are just throwing shots, but Stunite just putting out the damage with that dynamite and the damage boost.
Yeah, it looks like a big dynamite. Looks like he got like.
Oh, that Hanzo looks caught out there on the going for that duel. But wow. Yeah, they're able to find the Hanzo split from their team as they just try to rotate around the point, as I was saying with the hallway. It's a good strategy you see coming out where they just push around, don't take much damage, and they're able to just kind of push out. But they just didn't unseat Stunape, and he just gets free damage here. Able to just lay down shot after shot on their enemy team, just untouchable because they can't. There's only really like one or two characters on Buffalo's team that can really deal with them. They just have to wipe the rest of the team and just hope that Stunape doesn't get as much value.
Yeah, Stunape is popping off this round, man. Well, this whole match he has.
Yeah, he's really worked up and helped out their team. Knows that if he keeps playing like this, they can't touch him as much on other characters.
Yeah, and that was a really interesting push route from Buffalo that I hadn't seen before, going around the outskirts like that. But seems really smart with Orion here, especially if
the anti coming out from Midtown, man. Oh, Akron's able to clean up after 4, I think, of Buffalo's team. Just gets antied and just deleted by Shuckle jumping in. But yeah, what you were saying about the rotate is you can speed through with your whole team and just take that high ground and just jump on the point with minimal damage or resources. But you just have to have a complete team, and what Buffalo did wrong there was their Hanzo tried to take the duel with Stunape with the Mercy Pocket on the other side of the map, and he got put down, he got shut down of what he was trying to do, and Buffalo just really didn't have enough damage to take on everyone else on the point.
Yeah, and as you'll see here, Akron coming into this fight with essentially 6 ultimates and only a minute 45 for Buffalo to push onto this point. They are going to pop 1 or 2 there to get this first hold, but Akron's doing a really good job of setting this up.
Yeah, they're definitely cycling their ultimates very well. They grabbed half the Buffalo team there. Pulse comes out, almost catches Alex. He must have been scratching his nose or something, thinking I'm fine there, but barely avoids death. But Buffalo seems to have learned from their mistake and switching comps, going for a monkey, trying to unseat Stunape, who just has complete control on top of that high ground.
Yeah, it seems like that was probably the smarter move. Even though in the last round, that was tough as well, getting Stunape off these high, choke points overlooking on the flank. But, I mean, the Reinhardt, I think, was a good idea, trying to just shield.
Oh, Jaden with a large pulse bomb, too.
Who even needs Stunape, dude? You got Jaden running around here, throwing out 3-man pulse bombs all around, the map. I mean, Stunape over here, he's emoting. He doesn't even need to play.
Stunape. Now, it's just like, for now, the mental game for Buffalo is you've got to take this point. If you don't take this point, there's not much of a chance because you'll either draw, which at this point it will just kind of go to a map 5, and it's still in Akron's favor. It's just you really got to take this point because it's now or never, and it's coming up on final fight with Akron with still some decent ultimates and just survivability. Big grab coming out on Shuckle if they can get the kill and punish. Stunnipe still working on the enemy team there though.
Did use Bob finally, so they won't have that ultimate coming in here, but he does still have the Valkyrie.
They're able to get a tick that changes the game on. They got the tick, which changes the game for Akron. Now they're going to have to actually complete the cap. Buffalo's about to take the full point there. Akron was just really super spread out, and they do. They managed to take it. Akron just all over the place, not really knowing what to do with the dive. They weren't able to clean up fast, and they just kind of got punished for it.
Now this seems a little bit dangerous from Akron here. I mean, they are trying to take these fights, sort of retreating back to the point. You just have to hope that none of them are about to get staggered, because then, it's sort of like we said, it's one of those things. They take the point very last second going into OT. You don't want Buffalo to run on here when Akron is staggered and get the second point for free. That would really be a letdown.
An interesting change the Blizzard developers actually did make for the 2 control point game mode is that whenever the first point gets captured, the defending team gets 10 seconds after the point is captured for instant respawns to prevent situations like that happening where your whole team is still dead from a long-winded fight. And the overtime, whenever it's overtime, you get a longer counter. And so they just really try to help out and just not let that happen where you get snowballed on the second just because you're not spawned in.
Oh man, this seems like bad news for Akron. Does do it a couple kills in response, but Oswald just on the monkey really doing a good job of getting up in Stunnipe's face there, not letting him get up on that high ground for the entirety of this fight.
Yeah, Akron able to get the key kills on the tanks there to actually push back Buffalo, but Buffalo came out swinging, getting some pulse bomb kills, getting some good damage in, but they just weren't able to deal with Stunnipe getting the high ground damage. And now it's just kind of get one more good fight with all their ultimates up, and if they aren't able to take it out, just kind of be one last throw in Hail Mary. But they are sitting in a better position than if they didn't cap first, because now it is still a winnable game. And they just have to hold to a certain point rather than go for a draw. But just the damage coming out from Shuckle and Stunnipe just pushing back Buffalo here again.
And Akron's still looking healthy on ults, have 4 up. Looks like that Graviton surge is going to be coming up soon.
Stunnipe finding a huge kill on the enemy Ana. Just losing a support on a map that's as long as this, it's just they got to take the rest of the time now on the clock to let their support run back. So Buffalo's got to reset quickly here to be able to take a full fight as a team. They're not going to probably have as much time to set up as they'd like. So really, it's just down to the wire again. Got to really win this to make it count.
Yeah, you got to
grab Shuckle. Ooh, Shuckle gets just thrown into some damage there. Buffalo throwing themselves on the point, trying to get some ticks here.
Are going to have Bob up again. Akron still has a couple more.
Stunnipe goes down. Now Buffalo throws out the beat, but the Grav comes in after. Akron able to throw in more damage here, trying to finish off Buffalo, and they find enough kills to finish off the fight here.
Let's go.
And now it looks like after they get the first point but not the second without a tick, and so now they have to either full hold the first point completely to get a win or draw out on the second. But it's still very losable if they lose that first point because Akron just has to get that single tick.
Yeah, it seems like Buffalo doing an okay job, give themselves some win condition, even though it is still going to be tough for them after not getting that second point. I mean, that Akron hold just eating off so much time on the clock. I mean,
yeah, especially in a map type like this, it's just if you don't run through these points, it's just going to be like that's just the mental game of we're not able to break this, and it's kind of like seeing the fight's useless. But if you're able to break in quickly, like if Akron's able to break this point, it just destroys it just makes the other team feel like, all right, we really have to dig in here or else that's it. Like, especially with being at match point, like the pressure's mounting to take back the fight and win. So it's going to be very interesting to see. They're kind of with Buffalo here running their own Ash Mercy comp, trying to repeat what Akron did.
Yeah, and I mean, you have to also imagine from the Buffalo point of view, getting headshot for the 10th time this match from Stun Ape. He's sitting all the way in the back. You don't even know where the man is when you're walking in and you're getting headshot by him. Got to be frustrating, on the mental. But like you said, it does seem like Buffalo's going to try a bit of the same strategy for themselves, just pocketing this Ash up in the flanks of the defense, trying to get some big picks.
Yeah, both teams have been playing really great, throwing punches back and forth. But it's really going to come down to this one push here, this one attack, and seeing whichever team pushes it to a map, either finishes the map or goes to a map 5 where it's Akron goes out with the TP on the high ground, trying to dislodge that Ash, but looks like Akron's able to find the pick first, and they just have the point presence there. Not much Buffalo can do here, having lost some crucial damage on their team, as Akron is able to finish up the point.
Big anti, but doesn't
Big
matter.
anti's coming out, yeah, but it's just at this point the fight's already over, and now Akron's gonna have the full time bank to be able to just get a single tick, and so Buffalo's got to pretty much full hold this next point for 6 minutes.
Cheeky little play from the Akron boys using that Symmetra teleporter there. I've never seen that sightline before where you can get up there. And also, what a big brain play there, knowing that, okay, they saw how well this worked for us. We kept
They're going to try it themselves, yeah.
Let's telly up there. Let's go.
They took the gamble with the TP, but they're going to try the same thing here, TP up onto the high ground there. Getting somewhere where you can't actually walk to unless you have a movement ability. Maybe forcing the point, getting the early pick on the Ash with the window coming out. That's just so much damage. The Ash is also sitting on that high ground, absolutely untouchable. Just putting out damage. The rest of the Buffalo teams trying as hard as they can. Eric with trying the super jump res, but doesn't get it off. But Buffalo here seems to actually be able to dig in, put the damage out.
So I know that Akron's probably lost this fight at this point. I mean, they're going to have respawns coming in, but Stun Ape!
Oh, Stun Ape absolutely throwing out damage with the Bob. Might be able to take that point there if they're able to finish off that Reinhardt. Getting the respawns. Tons of damage coming out.
If they take this.
Oh, huge pick on the Tracer. Stun Ape absolutely doing work. Another one coming out. Can he go for 3? Oh. Boops the Bob, the main stall for Buffalo, as they come out, and just Akron's able to put so much damage on the point with reses and respawns. Doesn't look good for them as it goes back and forth with teammates dying. Still anyone's game with the fight here. Both teams just trading, but the respawns just keep coming back for Buffalo.
Okay. I think that's probably
Akron almost manages to catch it. They're stalling out the Mercy here. Eric desperately trying to get in some damage there for another Valk. But after a long-winded fight, Buffalo finally is able to unseat Akron from that point and just take 2 minutes off that clock.
That is insane.
And just the ult charge of Dash, as I was saying earlier with the damage boost. He used a Bob middle of the previous fight, and now he has another Bob almost ready to go.
The amount of time that he sat up on that high ground.
Another pick on the Buffalo Tracer. Akron's just able to just put out so much damage. Oh,
bigger chatter.
Big lamp coming out in TP. Stun Ape was shattered and stunned, but due to the teleporter, he was able to get out of the Reinhardt damage, and they're just still able to stay alive. Bob coming out, and Akron looks like they're putting out enough damage to win this one. Rez comes out, just Ryan and Tracer on point from Buffalo, but just so much damage coming out from Stun Ape and the rest of the Akron team. Ball on point, desperately trying to gain as much time. But with that kill, Akron takes the map and the game, ending with 3-1 Akron. Very good game coming out from both teams, but just the damage coming out from that damage boosted Ash. Buffalo was not able to deal with it at the end of the Gibraltar, but just Akron took advantage of it, put it absolutely home there on Amora. Just coming out so strong.
That is insane. Like I said, I haven't seen these players play before. I'm pretty sure Stun Ape just peaked though. I don't think we can argue that man was popping off. We see 60% kill participation, 40 elims on a match that didn't even go max time.
No, that was just Stun Ape was just playing extremely well, taking advantage of all that space. Just the tank Shuckle just giving Alex just so much to work with. And being Buffalo, being stuck in a corner there, and the spawn room's coming out, you can't really get to where Stunape was on that second point. He was sitting on top of the point in that little platform, and he was just you just couldn't deal with it. And so
Yep.
just too much damage, too much Bob ultimate even, and it was just at that point it was just they couldn't deal with him.
Yeah, I would have loved to see Akron take it on that first push when Stunape was literally camping their spawn for like 3 minutes straight and just somehow was still pumping out damage and getting headshots over and over. I mean, that was just insane to watch. But, still, Akron pulls it out in the end, worried to get that second point and take the series 3-1 against UBuffalo.
Yeah, both teams played extremely well, with Buffalo coming out strong on the first map, but Akron was able to adapt and overcome what they were doing with the Tracer, putting out Stunape with the Ash, and just they were able to take it all the way home. And just both teams played very well, but Akron was just able to just pull it out at the end and just finish it off.
Yeah, definitely proud of the boys. They did go down that first map in this match, but able to really pull it back strong. And they've definitely made a fan out of me. So I'll be, tuning into the future games. Maybe get to cast a couple more of them. It was definitely fun.
All right. Well, I
And
believe that wraps it up for us here today.
Yep, before we go, we just want to thank our sponsors one more time. First of all, we just want to say thank you to Audio Technica, our exclusive audio partner, SteelSeries, our exclusive peripheral partner, Archon, our jersey provider, and Gravity Gaming, our PC provider. My name has been Will Imes.
My name has been Paul. Have a good night.
Thank you so much for tuning in.